So I was at Subway the other day, and there was this old white guy behind me, and we got into a conversation. Turns out this guy's a brand new professor at Northeastern. I was like, wow, that's really interesting. So I asked him, what do you teach? He goes, logic. And I was like, really, logic? How do you teach logic? What's that? And he tries to explain it to me, but it was a little too complicated, and he ends up just giving me an example. And I was like, okay, what's your example? He goes, do you own a doghouse? And I was like, yes. And he goes, oh, well, if you own a doghouse, then that must mean you probably own a dog. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, oh, all right, well, if you probably own a dog, then that must mean that you're probably part of a family. And I was like, yeah. And he goes, all right, well, if you're probably part of a family, then your parents are probably married. And I was like, that's a little bit of a stretch, but I'll allow it. Okay. And he goes, all right, well, if your parents are probably married, then you're probably financially stable. And I was like, yes. And he goes, well, you see, that's logic right there. Just by asking you if you had a doghouse, I was able to determine whether or not you're financially stable. And I was like, wow, that's really interesting. So I turned to the guy in front of me, and I'm like, hey, man, this guy's a new professor in Northeastern. And he goes, really, what does he teach? And I was like, logic. And he goes, how do you teach logic? And I'm like, don't worry, I got it. I'll just give you an example. And he goes, okay. And I was like, do you own a doghouse? And he goes, no. And I was like, dude, I'm sorry, but that must mean you're broke as fuck. I don't make the rules, dude. I'm sorry. But yeah, I was chilling at Subway, and the funny thing about Subway is not everyone likes Subway. And you would think they do, but they don't. And so like my friend the other day, he was telling me that he doesn't like Subway. And I'm like, how could you not like Subway? It's so good. He's like, I don't know, man, I just don't. And I was like, well, if you don't like Subway, then you just don't like sandwiches. And he was like, no, dude, I do like sandwiches. I just prefer to make my own sandwich. That's exactly what you do at Subway. Like, that's the entire concept of Subway. I was like, dude, no. Like, if you don't like Subway, you just don't like sandwiches. He's like, that's literally the slogan of Subway is have it your way. No way, that's Burger King. Maybe he should just go to Burger King. I don't know. But the other day, all my friends with fake IDs were going to the bar, right? And at the time, I was the only broke friend who couldn't afford a fake ID because at the time I didn't have a doghouse. And now I do, so I was able to get one. But that night, I really needed one. And luckily for me, there was one person I knew who didn't use their fake that night. But unluckily for me, it was my white friend, Jacob. I don't know if you guys know anything about fake IDs, appearances, and me, but this guy was literally Aryan. But I was determined to make it work, you know. I grabbed the biggest hood I could find, a big ass mask because COVID is crazy. And I got up there to the bouncer. The bouncer takes one look at me. He's like, big, tall guy. He's like, ID, please. I was like, oh, shit. And I give it to him. He's like, and he almost does like a double take. Like he almost can't believe what he's seeing. He's like, and finally he's like, take your hood off. Shit. He goes, yeah, this isn't you. He goes and hand me back my ID, and I was like, I was determined to make it work. I was like, what do you mean that's not me? That's me. He goes, this guy has straight hair. And I was like, I got a perm, and he goes, well, his hair is blonde, and I dyed it. But this guy is white, and you're black. And I was like, have you ever heard of reverse Michael Jackson conditions? Okay, but he has blue eyes. And I was like, I got contacts. And he's like, why would you wear contacts if you have glasses? And I was like, no, I don't. And he was like, man, I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. And he takes my ID and he puts it into this big machine. And I thought I had him. I really thought I had him. But he puts it into this big machine, and I heard a big noise, like I just made some dumbass guess on Family Feud. It was like, and I was like, damn. And he gives me back my ID. He's like, well, I'm sorry, it didn't scan, Mr. McLovin. Here you go. Shit. Anyway, the other day, my friend was telling me, I was telling my friend about my sex life, and he goes, hey man, just whatever you do, make sure you wear a condom, all right? Because before you know it, you're gonna be running around Matthew's part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, and I really thought he was gonna stop, but 10 seconds later, he was already at part 15, and I'm like, dude, I really don't think I want that many sequels. Like, my cinematic universe cannot be this extensive. No. I want like a trilogy at most. And they better be good movies too. I can't be starting directing bad movies this early on in life. Like, I want one with a plot twist. No, Matthews, I am your father. Wow. Thank you guys so much. My name is Matthew Sanchez.